friends and welcome back to Fastcuts. Today we came with another exciting zombie movie 28 weeks later. Unlike other typical zombie movies, this one talks about 6 months after the rage virus was inflicted on the population of Great Britain. The US Army helps to secure a small area of London for the survivors to repopulate and start again. But not everything goes according to plan. Without wasting much time, let's dive into this wonderful movie.
28 Days Later was a movie released in 2002 about the spread of a deadly virus from monkeys. The survival of a delivery boy, his girlfriend and a kid from the spreading virus is narrated in that movie. The second part of this movie was released in the name 28 Weeks Later, and it was a global hit. The producers are planning for the third part also. We may now go to the story of 28 Weeks Later, which was highly appreciated all over the world. A husband and wife were cooking in candlelight brightness in a dark room in a house. The wife showed a bottle of tomato sauce and told her husband that it was the last one remaining. The husband told her to adjust to whatever was available. They were held up in the house for some time due to the outbreak of a deadly virus and lockdown in the city. The wife was looking at their family photo in which their 2 kids were also seen. They had gone for some tour before the spread of the virus. They were worried about their children. He pacified his wife, saying that the children will be safe, and kissed her. Then an old lady appeared behind them and handed over something to the wife, saying that it will be useful for their dinner. Few other people were also staying in that house. They were the husband and wife, an old lady and an old man, a young lady and a young man. Then they sat together for dinner. The young lady kept some food for her boyfriend, who went out earlier and said he will come back shortly. But the young man was telling her that it is 4 to 5 days since he has gone, and he may not be alive, and told her to realize that truth. She was not convinced and said something and cried. They heard the sound of somebody knocking on the door, and the husband warned them not to open the door. But his wife was telling him that it is the sound of a boy and asked him to open the door. Reluctantly, the husband opened the door, and as soon as the boy entered the room, he closed the door. The boy was very hungry and ate the food on the table suddenly. They asked him where he come from, and he explained everything to them. He said he ran a lot to reach that place, and his father and mother are behind him to kill him. In the meantime, the young lady was looking for her boyfriend through a door gap. Suddenly a virus-affected zombie breaks the planks on the door and bites her. She started vomiting blood, then transformed into a zombie, and went to bite the young man. But the husband hit on her head in the back and killed her. More zombies were coming inside through the broken door. Husband shouted to everybody to run and escape. The zombies attacked the old man and lady. Though the young man tried to save them, he failed. He started running to escape. The wife and the boy were trapped in a room, and the husband was outside the room. Zombies were approaching the room, and the wife asked her husband to rescue her. Since the zombies entered the room, the husband was frightened to go to the room to save his wife, and he started running, leaving them in the room. The wife could not believe her eyes and was looking at her husband, who runs away. He was running and zombies were coming to attack him. Suddenly he saw the young man in his house is about to escape in a boat. Somehow he could get into the boat, but the young man fell into the water. The husband saved him only to realize that the young man also became a zombie and kicked him out of the boat to save his life. Then he escaped in the boat, and he could see his wife and boy near the window pleading for help. In the next scene, we can see London City after 28 weeks. By this time all people in London City were affected by the virus, and the city was closed. Almost all virus-affected people lost their lives. Now the authorities have declared London City virus-free and started rebuilding the city. For this purpose, a group of soldiers also arrived from the US to London. The hero Doyle and his soldiers were watching the city with guns in their hands. A plane is landing in London City after a long gap. The heroine of the movie, Scarlett, was sitting in another building, watching the people coming out of the plane. She was asking somebody why children were allowed in the city. 2 children also came on the plane, and they were the children went on a tour. It was a boy and his elder sister. The children were tested for viruses at the airport. When tested, they observed that one of the eyes of the boy is green, while the other one is gray. They inquired whether anybody in their family has this peculiarity, and the boy said his mother has similar eyes. They told him that he will be the youngest person in the city, as the boy was just 12 years old. After completion of the checking and verifications, the children were traveling on a train along with other people. As part of the rebuilding process, only 15,000 people were allowed to live in the city in the first phase. They were in the middle of a lot of restrictions restrictions and were not allowed to visit their old house or any other places. The US Army was controlling them and taking measures for their safety. Their father was waiting for the children in the station, and when they saw him, they embraced him with love. In the next scene, Scarlett was discussing with officers, and she was expressing her concern about bringing children to the city. She was saying that the stage of the virus is not fully known, and they had not formulated any protocols for children. The officer was trying to convince her by saying that virus won't be in the air, as the last affected person died 6 months back. He assured her that the virus won't spread again, and even if it comes, they can eliminate the virus. In the next scene, we can see the husband, Don, and children going to their new residence. When they reached their new room, the children asked him about their old house. Don informed the children that they can't go there anymore as it is outside the safety territory. When the children asked him about their mother, Don explained to them that they were hiding in the house of an old couple, where zombies reached and bit their mother, as she was trapped in a room. When his son asked him whether he could have saved their mother, he said it was impossible. Doyle and his men were keeping guard for the rooms people were living in. He was checking every room and all people were engaged in some work, including Scarlett, Don and children. While sleeping, the young boy woke up after having a dream about his mother. Then he told his sister that they don't even have a photo of their mother. The next day morning, the children planned to go to their old house to collect some photos of their mother. They came out of the safety area, but their movements were seen by Doyle, and he informed others. While the children were running, they saw a few bikes lying on the road. They entered the nearby building in search of the key, and saw decomposed bodies of some people and some old food items. They took out one key from the pocket of a dead body, and were riding the bike to their old house. Don was searching for the children when he came back home. The children collected a few photos of their mother and their old toys. The boy heard some sounds from upstairs and went there. The room was dirty, and he was surprised to see his mother still alive there. The boy kissed his mother, but she was behaving differently. The boy cried and came down near his sister. Both of them came outside the house, and by this time the army people also reached there. They saved the mother from there. In the next scene, we can see the mother lying on a cot after a bath. Scarlett was sitting near, and she was curious to know how she lived these long days without food. But the mother was not answering her questions. When they took blood samples from her, they have seen she was also bitten by zombies, but she remained unaffected by the deadly virus. One soldier informed Don that his wife is still alive, and he was shocked to hear that. Then he reached the place where his children were waiting. The children were angry and asked Don why he said their mother is dead. Don was replying as if he never said that, but the children were not convinced. Scarlett tested the blood sample of the mother and informed her that she is still a carrier of the virus. She also informed that the mother is having some sort of resistance to the virus, and they can make a vaccine once it is traced from her body. Since she is a carrier, others may get the virus from her. Hence the soldiers decided to kill her. Don came to the room in which his wife was lying. He was feeling guilty for what he did to her. He apologized to her and said he should not have escaped alone and started weeping. She told that she still loves him. He became very happy and kissed her hard. Soon after that, he started sweating and shivering. He was rolling on the floor and became a zombie soon. He got up and started to attack his wife, and also bit the soldiers he found there. The other soldiers alerted people with code red, and a lockdown was also declared. Don's children Andy and Tam were sitting in a building, and due to some problems the light was fading. The soldier sitting with the children went out to check what happened. After some time he came back as a zombie, and Scarlett shot him dead before he attacks the children. Scarlett came out of the building with the children. The soldiers were relocating all people in that building, and in between Andy was missing. Scarlett and Tam were searching for Andy, who was sitting alone in an isolated place. They heard a sound and while checking saw their father, who became a zombie, attacking everybody in that hall. Those who got bites were becoming zombies. People were frightened and started running out of the hall. Somehow Andy climbed and hides in a ceiling gap. All people except Andy were running out of the hall. Soldiers were shooting down those affected people outside. Since it was difficult to trace the affected people from the crowd, a senior officer ordered to shoot down all people coming out of the hall. Scarlett informed other soldiers about missing Andy. Tam was crying, but Scarlett consoled her and assured her that they can find out Andy. Andy was coming out of the ceiling, and Doyle saw him. Doyle protected him from gunshots, and he reached the next building where several escaped people were standing. Andy saw Tam and Scarlett there. Tam came to hug him. Andy told Tam that he saw their father. When Tam asked him where is he, Andy informed her that he also became a zombie, and Tam started crying on hearing this. Some people inside the building were criticizing the acts of soldiers, saying that they are mercilessly killing people. Doyle. Scarlett was justifying the action taken by soldiers by saying that in emergencies, if spreading could not be controlled with other measures, destruction is the last resort. Doyle came there saying that even if somebody tries to escape in dark, they can see them through the lens fixed on the gun. Then he had taken them to another safe place. They were told to run and hide according to his directions. While they were escaping by running and hiding, Doyle got a call from one of his fellows, asking him where is he. His friend informed him that the authorities have decided to destroy the entire area with bomb blasts. Doyle told them to run, and when they reached a place, they were getting gunshots from a single point. Doyle asked someone to run zigzag. Andy came forward and ran to divert the gunman's attention, and Doyle killed him with a gunshot. Doyle appreciated the courage Andy has shown to save all others from the killer. Then they started walking to another place. Some of them were injured, including Scarlett. Doyle was helping Scarlett to walk. Large planes flying in the sky were coming down and blasting to destroy the city and kill all people. It was an extreme step to eradicate the virus. The city was completely on fire. Doyle and the team were on their way to escape and reached a park outside the protected area. They were taking a rest, and Doyle told them not to go anywhere. Tam and Andy were discussing about their parents and shared their concerns about their mother. Tam told Andy that she was very sad when they missed him in the crowd. Andy assured her that whatever happens, they will go together. Doyle and Scarlett both ask each other about why they joined those people, and they tell their reasons. Scarlett replied that their mother had a natural resistance to the virus. Andy and Tam also might have the same resistance to the virus, so if they want to make any vaccine, they were required. She also said that Andy and Tam are more valuable than any other person. Doyle got a call from his friend informing him that a large number of zombies are coming to their place. Doyle and others started walking to escape from the zombies. They hid at a place, and then they saw Flint coming there in a helicopter. Doyle asked Flint to take the children to a safe place, but he said he won't let the children inside. In the meantime, zombies reached there, and Flint started chopping them with the blade of the helicopter. Doyle was shooting down other zombies while running to escape. Only Scarlett, Andy, and Tam were with Doyle at that time. Flint asked Doyle to reach the stadium nearby, along with the children and Scarlett, from where they can mount the helicopter. At last, they reached a road escaping from the bites of zombies. The road and surrounding areas were on fumigation, and to escape from the smoke, they entered a car nearby. Zombies were attacking the car, but when they breathed the smoke, one by one fell. The fumigation people saw Doyle and others. Doyle tried to start the car, but he could not. He told Scarlett to put the car in gear when it moves, and saying this he started pushing the car. As soon as the car got started, the authorities burned Doyle with a machine in their hand. Andy and Tam were crying when they watched Doyle in flames. Scarlett was trying all her ways to escape, but fumigation started from all corners. Then she opted for another road, but they were shot by the helicopter which follows the car. To save their life, Scarlett drove the car to an underground through the steps. They reached a subway and it was fully dark. Scarlett had a net vision gun and informed the steps to Andy and Tam. When they were going down, Andy fell and he was not seen in the dark. Tam was screaming for Andy, and Scarlett pacified her. Suddenly one zombie appeared in their front and started attacking Scarlett. After some time, Tam got hold of the gun in the dark, and when she looked through it, she was shocked to see Scarlett dead in front of her. Andy was searching for Scarlett and Tam in the dark. Suddenly one zombie came in front of him. It was their father Don. That zombie bit on the neck of Andy. Tam shot and dead crying while her father was dying. Tam came to wake up Andy, but he started running as he was bitten by the zombie, and he don't want anything to happen to her sister. After running a while, Andy got tired and fell. Tam came near him and helped him to get up. Andy asked Tam whether he felt any changes in him as he was bitten by zombie. Blood started spreading in his eyes, but Tam said nothing happened. Then they walked out of the subway and reached the ground where Flint was waiting with a helicopter for Doyle. When Flint saw Andy and Tam, he pointed his gun at them and asked where is Doyle. Tam replied only both of them left. Flint checked the eyes of Tam through his night vision gun, and no changes in her eyes. Since Andy was standing behind her, he was not noticed. Flint asked them to get inside the helicopter, and they flew outside the ground. They were looking at a place down, only to see it is fully burned and destroyed to a condition where life is impossible. They were flying to a new place for new life. The next scene is 28 days later, in which the virus is spreading fast around Eiffel Tower, and frightened people are running scattered there. With this scene, the movie ends. We may presume like this. Andy was rescued and relocated to a new place. The virus had spread from Andy, and this time it happened to be near Eiffel Tower. Tourists from different parts of the world come there, and as such, there is all probability of spreading the virus all over the world. On a short note, 28 Weeks Later is an exhilarating movie, if you suspend your expectations of logic. The action of the movie was really tremendous, so was the acting of its lead roles. So, if you like our video, please don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Till we meet again with another exciting video. Goodbye.